Hi, welcome to Local Matters. I'm your host, Ken Moore. As you know, there's a school board election coming up. You've probably seen signs around town. And I've been interviewing candidates. And I have another one with me today. He's more than just a candidate, he's an incumbent. He's been working for kids in the school board. He's been on the school board since 2006, and before that on the budget committee. He's a great volunteer for our community, and I'm proud to say that I have with me Larry Vollmer. Larry, thanks for being here with me.
Ken, nice to meet you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, this is great. Well, thanks for coming in. You're running opposed for the first time. Let's go back to your history a little bit. You served on the budget committee.
I did.
Since 2000?
In the early 2000s, 99 or 2000.
Okay.
I did that for a couple of terms.
Yeah.
And there is a term limit there. You can't continue to do that within the district. 2 terms is the max you can do. So I had served up my useful time, I guess, and had left, and at that time was living in Lafayette, and was called to ask if I would be willing to serve on the board not long after I left. And we had just put our house up for sale, and we're in the process of getting ready to move to McMinnville. And at that particular time, the position they'd asked me for was zoned, and I didn't know if I was going to end up in McMinnville in that zone or not. So I declined that, and 6 months later, a candidate had moved out of town, and we had moved again to McMinnville, and I accepted that appointment, and subsequently ran in unopposed in 2007 and 2011, and here it is, 2015.
All right. Well, that's a lot of service. What have you noticed that's changed? You came on the scene, you were somewhat experienced, and you got right to work as a school board member. What's changed from then till now?
I would say in the 2006, 2007 area, we were in the throes of No Child Left Behind, which was an attempt at trying to increase the rigor and increase the standards and slowly raise the bar over time for children to try to get schools to raise their level of education and output for those kids. And of course, that was came through the Republican presidential person, George W. Bush at that time. So that was No Child Left Behind, and we were continuing to meet those standards and grow over time. And then with the presidential change, that has since been rescinded, and we are now working on what we call a compact with the state of Oregon, because the state of Oregon has opted out of No Child Left Behind, and we have a sort of a rigorous standard of achievement goals and directives that we perform as a district, submit that then to the state, and that is what the state measures our performance in time so we can continue to receive our funding.
Okay. So, as I understand it, the standards now are called Smarter Balance. Is that right?
That is not.
Excuse me. That's right. The standards are Common Core.
Correct.
And those standards are new.
They're new. They are.
They've raised the bar a little bit.
I would say, yeah. The Common Core is a set of standards. It's not curriculum, but it is standards. And the standard is basically deeper levels of critical thinking within each subject matter. You're not just asking a question and checking a box on the multiplication test when you're done. You may have to write a summary. You may have to pull out data and information out of that body of text now to show a deeper level of understanding. That's what it is. We're raising the bar for all of our students, I think. And quite honestly, we've been doing this at this district for 3.5, 4 years. Starting to implement this, it was coming, and I guess we decided to get on the train rather than have it leave us, at the station. And we've done that, and our teachers are doing phenomenally well. I mean, we have great examples of things even happening in our board meetings that I think would surprise you about what kids can do with Common Core.
You gave me an example of that. Some kindergartners came in, 5-year-olds.
Yeah, our last business meeting was second Monday in April, so just 2-something weeks ago. We always start off our board meetings with the kids, because that's what it's all about. We're about the kids, and we have a set of kindergartens going around the tables where we sit, and sitting next to us with their whiteboards, and we had our whiteboards, and they were doing story problems, math story problems. These children are 5. They're doing math story problems and helping us adults who probably never like story problems, to be honest with you, right? So they're helping us, show us how they learn, and they were just excited. You can just feel the energy coming off them. They're excited to learn. They couldn't get enough of it. And I kept telling myself, these kids are 5.
Yeah.
4 years ago, that probably would not have been the story, not only in our district, but our standards weren't that. The Oregon State standards were, that wasn't necessary, that wasn't needed. So we're now asking kids to do more, and to be honest with you, they're absolutely exceeding our expectations. They're doing more and then some. I'm worried if we can keep up, quite honestly.
Let me ask you, so we have these standards, Common Core standards. Now, we have a curriculum in McMinnville School District.
Sure.
Is that the Common Core curriculum?
It is not.
Okay, so Common Core is not a curriculum that was just kind of handed to us, boom, this is what you will teach to meet these standards.
No.
So that's not the case.
That's not the case. One of the things I think that's maybe confusing, I brought some information here that might shed some light on it, if nothing else, to talk about the difference between standards and curriculum. And so what we're looking at here, Common Core is a set of standards. It's benchmarks, it's levels of understanding that is specific to grade levels and subject levels. Standards are the what, curriculum is the how.
Okay.
So you may still be able to use the same novel, the same math textbook, the same art process. What you're asking them to do now is deeper thought processes, a better, deeper understanding. So instead of going an inch deep and a mile wide, we're going a mile deep and maybe a foot wide. So we're going much deeper into the standards so they have a better understanding, better abilities to critically think. So
this curriculum, the how, is coming from what sources?
Typically, groups of teachers in specific grade areas and specific subject matters will select what they believe are the best set of tools they need to deliver the instruction to the children so they can achieve at the levels, at the standards that Common Core is.
Okay, all right, well that helps straighten it out.
Sure.
I read a nice article about you in the paper. One of the things that you said was you have a soft spot in your heart for kids.
How
Yeah.
can you not do anything for kids? Kids don't always come from where my kid came from.
Yeah.
They don't always have my kids' advantages. We get kids in kindergarten that come to us that don't know how to hold a pencil or what a book is. We also have kids that come and they already know how to read.
Yeah.
You know, how can you not try to do anything for these kids that they don't have a lot of choices in the matter. They can't pick their parents. Anything you can do to help a child, I think, is money well spent. I do lots of things for kids. I'm a Sunday school teacher. Can you imagine? I have the kindergarten kids. You know, the big guy in there with the kindergarten kids. Oh, it's a hoot. You just can't get enough of that. You know, you see them all over town. I've been doing that for years.
Tell us about your own family.
Well, we're an adoptive family, my wife and I, and we have a daughter who's 12. She's a Dunaway student, 6th grade, so that's a big change for her. Probably a bigger change for her parents, to be quite honest with you. That's a big building and a lot of kids, and you know, you're taking a kid out of a very nurturing elementary environment and putting him into a school that runs a lot faster and goes a lot faster, and now they're not the big kids anymore.
Yeah.
So that's what my family, you know, we've lived in McMinnville since 2005, but we've lived in Yamhill County since 95. So that's
I was just over at Dunaway today. I was teaching a junior achievement class, and it moves pretty fast over there. You walk down the halls, you've got to dodge.
You better keep out of the way. They know where they're going, and you probably don't.
Yeah, and you know one thing I've been really impressed with is the level of respect between the students and the teachers. I just feel like the kids know that the teachers care about them, and it really shows.
Oh, you know it and you feel it when you're there. Absolutely. I agree with you.
Well, I'd like to change gears a little bit. We've got a bond measure maybe coming up in McMinnville.
We do.
Tell me about that. What's going on?
There's a litany of deferred maintenance and repairs that are needing to happen to several buildings.
What stands out? What's falling down right now?
What's falling down? Boy, we've got buildings that are 100 years old that are still being used for kids, if you can imagine that.
Okay.
We've got now our 11th or 12th expansion possibly going on at the existing high school,
Yeah.
which in 60, 70 years ago was never supposed to be a high school in the first place.
It was a
It was a junior high.
middle school, yeah.
So there's all those kind of things. We actually are going to be retiring a bond here pretty quickly So the idea is to try to, at least the original idea was to try to find out what repairs could we do, what's necessary, what's needed, and not change the tax level within the district. And we could certainly do that with repairs to the existing high school, some needed repairs at Newbie, and upgrades at some of the other buildings that we need that were deferred to this next bond and not done the last time. So that's some of the things we've been talking about. And then there was also talk of a new high school out on our Hill Road property. And again, to build a brand new high school would not be able to be done within the existing tax levels that we are now. So it's the thought about what can we afford to do as a community? What do we really want to do for the future? And can we afford it? That's the discussion that our long-range task force is working on right now. They've been working on it for a couple of years. Hard work.
Is there a particular topic that over these years on the school board that has meant a lot to you, that it weighs on your mind, it troubles you, or that you're particularly proud of, the progress it's made, or maybe there's an area that progress needs to be made?
The one thing, when I started, our district was really focused on just district improvement. We wanted to lower our dropout rates. We wanted to increase our test scores. But, you know, that is a measuring stick, whether we like it or not. We do have to comply to that. And our district has done some phenomenal things, even through some times of recession and that kind of stuff here. The last handful of years have been pretty tough financially for our district. And one of the things I think we've done well through those bad times is we have raised our standards, raised our teaching ability. We've increased the professional development for teachers, and we've done three basic things really well. We use what's called data teams, which collects data from what children are or are not learning and helps guide the curriculum. We use what's called a common formative assessment, which is kind of a quiz, for lack of a better description, to find out, did your students during that process learn what you want them to learn? And if you didn't, then you craft your instruction there. And basically the other thing we're using is just about anything that is research-based educational practices, what's best common practices. We do three things really well in this district, and that just implementing those throughout our entire district has caused our district now to be recognized statewide by a leader in district improvement. We have people coming in all the time and want to say, how do you do it? We get the same money you do.
Yeah.
And again, we have to take people and teachers out of the classrooms to teach other districts how to do it like we do. And the state is asking us to do that. Other districts want to come see that. So I think just being on the team that has fostered that environment over the last certainly 8+ years for me, that's been really rewarding. You know, this isn't a magic pill kind of a thing. This is hard work over long periods of time. But now that you have that success, everybody wants it. They want to do it in a year. They don't realize you got to start from zero and do this a little bit at a time. It does take time and patience, but that's the thing I'm probably most proud of, is our district growth and improvement, even through these challenging economic times.
Oh, wow. So you set some goals and you met them even on a tight budget.
We did.
So
that is hard work, because it's people that have to deliver that instruction and people that we have to do that work.
All right. Well, we've just got a minute left. We've got a lot more things we could talk about, but let's end. Perhaps you could tell us a little bit about some of the awards that have been coming to our district.
One of the things we're really proud of, we have a lot of best in state awards, whether it be elementary, middle school, high school, district principals. We even have food service staff that are considered the best in state of what they've done. And I would say, as a district, in that respect, there's probably no other district in the state that can have that level of plaques on the wall, if that's what you want to call it.
Yeah.
We have some phenomenal administrators that do great work with teachers, and we've had our superintendent was a national finalist. We have our middle school principal, Kathy Carnahan, was the national middle school principal of the year. We've had 6 or 7 in the last 10 years. There's no other district in the state that measures up.
Well, I hope to get them on my show too. Well, thank you so much for coming. And thanks for joining us today here on Local Matters, Larry. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for your time.
Good luck in the election.
Thanks very much.
Well, we've had a lot of great conversations with a lot of great people. I think we can be proud of the incumbents we have and the challengers. We've got good people wanting to work for our kids. So I'm glad you're here watching. I hope it informs you so you can make a better choice when you vote. So for Local Matters with Ken Moore, see you next time.